there's a really strong family feel to the school, and that manifests itself in the knowledge that the staff have of all of the pupils, but also the knowledge that the pupils have of one another and of the staff. It is a community rather than being just a school. It's a place in which all the pupils, all the members of staff, the parents as well, have a genuine care for one another. It feels like one shared community together. And maintaining that sense of shared ethos of caring for one another as we go forwards, making sure that there continues to be that level of knowledge, of understanding of one another, is something that I think is incredibly important. And that extends to the whole community, not just the teaching staff, not just the pupils, but all sorts of people who come into contact with one another through all the work that Morehouse School does.
Yeah, and you have an advantage over me because you have yourself a young family. And I think that you can't avoid the fact that that will be at the core of the school as well. And that has its strengths and difficulties. When we came here, Antonella had, well, more than flown the nest. Matthew was 14, so he had 4 years actually living in the school. And that had its, on the whole, it had advantages. And I think having your children here and having you as a family here will be an exemplar for staff and parents. It will enable parents in particular to identify with you far better than they have been able to with me, because you will know the difficulties of bringing up children more obviously than I have had.
3 years ago, I took over the role of head of boarding at the school, and with some trepidation did we move our, at the time, very young family into school, sharing one of the 2 large boarding houses with a boarding community of 103 boarders and their staff. What we have found living on site is that sense of family, that sense of community has been all-encompassing. To see the reactions of the boarders especially, but all of the pupils, of the boys in the school to a 3-year-old girl suddenly running round the corner towards them, and the way that they show an immediate care for her, the way that they are very encouraging with our son James. He loves to join in the games. He feels that he has 450 older brothers, desperately wants to be on the playground with them playing football. And the welcome, the understanding that we see from the pupils shows me an element of the character of all of our boys that perhaps otherwise wouldn't necessarily be so apparent.
Mm. I think you're absolutely right with all of that. And then outside that, you have got your other extended family in the shape of the staff. And staff have, on the whole, been a very positive influence on my life. They have supported me, they have guided me, frequently argued with me, told me when they think I've got it wrong, and I've had to tell them sometimes when I think they have got it wrong. What do you think your biggest challenge with, I know you've had experience of boarding staff, but with academic staff is going to be?
It is a challenge, but it's an exciting challenge. We have such a committed staff, I'm sure you would agree. All sorts of people with all sorts of brilliant ideas for how they want to serve the boys better, how they want to develop themselves as professionals, and how they want to work for improvements, developments within the school. Finding a way of serving all of those staff needs, and at the same time making sure that there is a sort of united approach to the school, to taking the school forwards, to making sure that what we do, any improvements, any changes that we bring into the school are there to serve the boys, because that has to be the primary purpose for anything, to make sure that any changes we make to the school are going to benefit the students in the school. And finding that shared sense of vision, I believe, is very strongly the role of the headmaster, is to give that vision, that sense of direction, and inspire everybody to follow that